What's up, everybody? It's Leo and Josh with another episode of 713 Football, man. Listen, make sure you like, sub, and share, man. Let's get right into this. Listen, um, biggest game of the year so far, and we come up with the L. We're 0-3. Man, where do we begin? It's a hard place to be. Honestly, I didn't expect the season to start off like this. I knew it would be kind of tough, but I didn't think we'd be here 0-3. About to play the Titans, man. Josh, what are you thinking about going into this next game? And just what do you think about the state of the Texans right now?
Yeah, to me, the only way to keep my sanity right now is kind of look at it. All right, what are the issues? Are they fixable? Can we fix them this year? And what are the actions? There are a few positive things that come out of this game offensively, specifically, and tons of them defensively. But, man, overall, like, taking that aside and, the little bit of sprinkling of good stuff that went on, it was just the absolute kind of epic failure outside of the run game on offense. And it's something that we've seen over and over again, and there's just a catastrophic disconnect between the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, the pace, the scheme. Just overarching, the offense looks at such a different tier down from where it was previously with Bobby Slowick when rightfully so there were some issues last year. But I think we're starting to find out that it has a lot to do with maybe the quarterback and maybe just kind of how the offensive coordinator is taking advantage of what the quarterback does well and how he's not really leaning into what this team does now. It's more of an identity that he wants to put on the team rather than what the team is good at the moment.
Yeah, so let's start off with the run game. Both running backs averaged over 4.5 yards a carry, or right around there, I believe. Now, here's the thing, though. Neither one of them really got over 10 carries, I believe, right? It's been pretty like...
Yeah, Chubb had 9 carries, Woody Marks had 6, and CJ had 4. Yeah.
So it's just not enough. When you think about how inefficient CJ Stroud is, I think he has one of the worst EPAs per dropbacks, or total EPAs in the NFL right now. Definitely bottom 5 in total EPA. We need to be running the football more, and it's incredible to see that we aren't running the football. For everyone talks about the offensive line and, whatever. I feel like offensive line is one of those things where everyone can always say the offensive line is playing bad. Whenever a quarterback looks bad, the offensive line is always going to get blamed, right? But listen, here's the facts. According to NFL Pro, CJ Stroud was pressured on 32.6% of his dropbacks, which ranks him 17th in the NFL. So literally mid, it's right. It is what it is. Now, did Ursary, was he getting his butt kicked a lot? Of course he was, right? It is what it is, though. Like, could Kaylee have probably protected him a little bit more? Maybe so, But at the end of the day, CJ was pressured on 32.6 of his dropbacks, and that ranks him 17th in the NFL. So the offensive line, although it wasn't like, listen, in the NFL, they're not going to necessarily give you a pillow and just, say make yourself comfortable in the pocket. You're going to have to make some tight throws. You're going to have to step up in some really compressed pockets and, throw the ball maybe like, at some difficult arm angles and all type of things to make plays. But when you have an elite quarterback, that's what they're supposed to do. So, but at this point, honestly, as Texan fans and as the Texans coaches and all this stuff, we can't sit up here and say that this guy is elite anymore, which is why when your running backs are averaging 4.5 yards a carry or more, they need to touch the ball. We need to be running the ball 30 times, right? Yeah. Let's just start right there. To me, that's the biggest fault of the coaching staff at this point. Is like, if our defense is only giving up 17 points a game, which ranks us in the top 5, we're tied with Jacksonville for having the top 5 points per game defense right now, right? Our offense is one of the worst in the NFL. Our quarterback looks very bad right now. Why are we not running the football more? Will their numbers look different? Like, yeah, I think that if we ran the ball, maybe 10 more times with Chubb or 10 more times with Woody Marks, I don't know that they would necessarily average 4.5 yards a carry. Maybe it will go down, but who knows? Maybe they break one. Maybe those looks, force them, to play different defenses and give CJ Stroud more better looks and play action or something, or just coming out, in more favorable passing situations. I don't know, but one thing I do know is that we can't be a pass first team right now.
Right. Yeah, and I think, that's 100% true. And I think what you have is you have a dissonance of how you wanted to run your offense with Mixon out there and how you're running it with Chubb. With Mixon, you didn't necessarily have to give him all these ton of carries because he had that home run ability. With Chubb, if you want to get those explosive plays, you need those constant body shots, and then you can soften them up for Woody Marks and kind of go back and forth. And if you really want to build up a situation where you don't have to lean on the play action as much, where you have that simulated play action that became a famous thing last year, right, that teams were doing, you have to commit to the run, and teams actually have to fear it. And the truth is, people are adjusting. We're seeing more single high this year than we did last year, right? Already, because no one is believing that Kaylee's going to attack vertically. And I think that's the next thing that ties in. And the thing that's really maddening is you're having these moments where CJ is actually executing with it's kind of around the numbers. It's kind of in that slot area a little bit, but it's not always the slot receiver. It's the outside slant coming in. It's the curl. They ran the curl flat combination. I shit you not, like at least 10 times in this game, right? And it worked a good amount of times. That's where he got a lot of the quicks to the tight end. He's using Nico in that role, but that's part of the issue is you're putting all these hits on a guy like Nico who's had injury issues previously. And you see eventually a guy's going to break when he's getting hit over and over again. You can't tell me that fumble at the end of the game wasn't directly connected to all the hits that he took over and over again. And the fact that he seeked out contact, he was expecting to get hit, and he cleared the initial contact, and he kind of relaxed because he's so beat up, and the guy just able to poke it out. Like, he's not a damn running back. Like, he's a great player, and you have to find certain ways, but we're not using him in any of the vertical element whatsoever. And then you spin it to the other side with Woody Marks. Like, you're not using him consistently enough for what he does well. The thing that he brings to your team that no one else gives you is that ability to get that easy 5 yards. And right now, this quarterback in CJ Stroud is starving for that. If we take away that 50-yard, like screw up by their corner where he jumps the out route and the fake and then up and go, like CJ would have gone 24 for 37 for 154. And he would have 0 touchdowns and 2 picks if you take that one play out. Like, that's how the rest of the game went other than that one play. So there has to be a thing where, all right, this works. The quick stuff works on the outside, but it only works when there's tempo and it's simple and you're dumbing it down for the quarterback at this point where you have to treat him like a rookie and build it back up. And you can't do that until you run the ball consistently. And in the second half, they finally started to run the damn ball, and that's why they were able to get to that quick stuff, and it was starting to work because those hook defenders had to crash down. They had to be more aggressive. And it's frustrating over and over again because right now they're just not taking advantage of the personnel in a way that, CJ's played badly and he's missed throw, but we're not doing him any services at the same time.
Yeah, so let's talk about personnel. Segues perfectly into this. Jalen Noel only played 14% of snaps. Like, again, another just non-existent, performance from him. But I don't know, like, what is the purpose of this? Like, we took a receiver when we didn't have to, very talented guy, and he's not getting the ball at all. He's not even getting on the field. Another thing that is crazy to me, man, the past couple games, Jaden Higgins, if you followed us at any, for any length of time, you knew how much I like Jaden Higgins coming into the draft. I think that the idea that he is just, you can't tell me that a guy that big and athletic and explosive is only just an intermediate to short guy. Why do we have him and Nico running hitch routes, running like 5, 2 or 3 yard hitches and all kind of stupid stuff when, these are big, explosive, players, 6'4", 4'4" guys, right? And like Josh just said, taking hits, but that's neither here nor there. Jaden Higgins, and I will put this on the screen, Jaden Higgins' average targets for the past two games is completely laughable, man. Air yards per target against the Bucs for Jaden Higgins, 3.2 yards. Average air yards per target for Jaden Higgins against the Jaguars, 4.8 yards. why are we using these guys like they're tight ends? Why are we using these guys like they're like they run 4.8? And also, why are we using these guys like they're 260 pounds? You know what I mean? Like they're built to take these massive hits from linebackers and just from safeties coming downhill and just smacking them. I mean, it's laughable to me. I mean, Nico Collins last year, the past couple years has basically been leading the league in air yards per pass target or whatever. Why are we using him like he can't run? Where are all the digs that we have seen him thrive off of the last couple years, right? The deep digs, the 15, 20-yard digs. Now there was one that CJ did miss, and I will put it on there, and I can understand that, the windows, and he had to step up and do this and this and this. But at the end of the day, he ended up throwing an interception on that play. So that, whatever, which one was worse? With, taking a step to the left and trying to throw to Nico, or throwing a pick? I think we all know the answer to that. Hell, even run the ball, but whatever. I mean, I'm not a quarterback guru. Whatever, But it's just we've seen a player like I was thinking when Kaylee got hired, and I wasn't some guy that blamed all of the struggles on the offense on Bobby Slowick, But I thought that Nico Collins was such a foolproof player. I didn't think that you could mess this up. I didn't think that you could mess up this receiving core. We have Nico. You go get an experienced slot receiver, just an overall weapon in Christian Kirk, who I know has been hurt. Then you draft 2 explosive players. I did not think that our receiving core would be worse than it is, but some kind of way it is. Some kind of way Nico Collins has regressed, and I don't know.
Yeah, to me, I mean, the best way, if you want a historical reference, what it's like right now is Nick Haley is taking Andre Johnson and putting him in the Kevin Walter role. If you want a historical, like, it's just like the most dink and dunk, like just short stuff. Like, but we're gonna use you, just sacrifice your body underneath that. We're so desperate to create separation. We don't trust the ability for the offense to hold up for you to get deep, I guess. It's just the overall structure of the offense is so screwed up. And the problem is that they have moments of like competence. Like in that second half, they finally started running. The quick stuff was a little bit better. And then they just go away from it as soon as there's a mess up or it's just such a small room for error because they're not doing it throughout a game yet. And I think you brought up that interception, and it's the thing we've seen over and over again. And like there's plenty of criticism across the board for the offense to correct, and it's not just the quarterback, but damn well the quarterback, the quarterback has dirty hands in this, right? Like, and there has to be an addressing and an aggressive conversation that happens inside that building to say, okay, first of all, you've got guys open. The deep play, there was a crosser to Nico Collins at the beginning of the game where he just overthrew him to the right. It's just consistently, ball placement is poor. His off-target percentage has been poor since he came in the league, but Bobby Slowick was able to hide it with how open he was getting. He's in a mentality now where he's expecting guys to be college open, and college open doesn't happen in the pros, right? So he's got to come to a situation where everything has to happen quicker. And you saw like all of it come to a head on that last play. Did Ursery get his ass whooped? Absolutely. Did CJ pat the ball one too many times and hesitate when you could see he saw Kirk. He saw him open and he patted the ball one extra time. If he gets the ball out before he pats the ball, we never even talking about Ursery, and at the minimum it's an incomplete pass because if you can see him be able to, there's a lane for him to lead him over into the logo. I think it's like the J of the Jaguars on the logo. And guess what, if he doesn't want that, if you're going to tap the ball, move off the receiver because the window's closed, chuck it down to your damn running back. And there's a third option on that play, and this is the shit that, like, he talks about running the ball and being more decisive with running the ball. Because of how wide the rusher goes on the outside and how the left guard seals, there's a lane for him to run. If he decides he makes that tap, he doesn't like the throw, he doesn't want to check it down, if he can easily get the first down and keep the drive going. So there's all these quick decisions. He's not playing fast, he's not playing with energy, and I'm tired of him sulking on the sideline and acting like everyone has to elevate him and he's some kind of dainty flower. There needs to be a come to Jesus moment where they're coming in and saying, all right, this is what we're doing. We are not going to let you fail, but you have to be the leader of this ship. And you can't really just be kind of wishy-washy. I just work here kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So let's kind of move on to the defense. And I think, and I think, the defense has played really well, right? Will Anderson is off to a great start this year. I mean, shit, he probably would damn near be in some DPOY talks if we were 3-0, possibly, but that's neither here nor there.
No doubt.
But yeah, so listen, 17 points a game given up on defense, which is top 5 in the NFL, like I said. 4.9 yards per play, which is 10th in the NFL. Now, here's the interesting thing about the statistics on the defense, which I was looking at right before we, started filming this. A lot of the advanced analytics, just in general, have us kind of being middle of the pack, though, right? And I think that if this offense does not, improve, I think that there's no way that we're going to be able to maintain top 5, be a top 5 defense in the league in terms of points given up, unless Danielle Hunter turns into Myles Garrett, and Will Anderson even takes a step further, and then everybody just plays, completely with their hair on fire for the rest of the year. Stingley is already battling some kind of side injury, whether it's rib, hip, oblique. Nobody actually knows, but I think it happened in week 1. Honestly, at this point, I don't want to really have him push through it. I think he should heal up. You know what I mean? Because honestly, the defense is kind of still playing well without him, right? But at the end of the day, this defense is playing good. It's playing about what we thought it would be. You know what I mean? But when our offense is going 4 for 14 on third down like they did yesterday, then 2 for 9 the first 2 weeks, right? And then in week 2, we only held the ball for 22 minutes. Like, how often does that happen in the NFL where a team holds the ball for 22 minutes and the other team holds it for 37? The Buccaneers held the ball for 15 more minutes than us. In some kind of way, they did not score over, they didn't put up, really over the league average of points, right? And then again, this week, man, if you go back and watch the pregame show, we both picked the Texans to win. Obviously, this is a Texans podcast, but this was a game where you needed to have a spine and you need to find a way to win this game, because we're 0-3 now. We're playing the Titans, who have the worst defense in football basically right now, with Big Sweat out, right? So it's a very, very, very winnable game. Like, if we lose this game, it's time to clear the house, honestly, at this point, because it's not because some of these people that will be fired truly deserve it. It's because it's just not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll say this too. If you don't win this game, you know what I'm saying, we're 0-4. We go, we play Baltimore the week after that, 0-5, and then we have a bye. Listen, I mean, we have to beat the Titans. I mean, just at this point, who knows if we're going to make the playoffs, right? It's not even about the playoffs. It's about being respectable. If we lose this game, then listen, I'm out on the whole thing. And I think that we have to start talking about, are there any potential quarterbacks in the draft? Everybody's job. Everybody from top to bottom. And I know people don't want to hear that, but screw it. From top to bottom, everybody on the team, who deserves to have their spot next year? Take the best player, because we're basically rebuilding again. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we've seen positive from the GM is that the money doesn't guarantee you anything. Like with how much Tunsil was making and how they moved off him and how they moved off of Shaq and with the money that they were making. And I think very specifically the one trend we have to look for moving forward, and the reason I think the advanced analytics are kind of weird on the defense, is because you consistently, for now 2 straight weeks, you're giving up that opening drive for points, and it seems like you're kind of struggling at the beginning a little bit on that first possession or two, and then you're able to lock in after that, right? And then you're giving up this big drive all the way at the end of the game and towards the end of the game, Because guess what? They're just dog-ass tired, right? They're just dragging up and down. The missed tackles weren't as bad in this game. I thought shout out to the DTs. They leveled the hell up in this game against a team that was really good in the run game. The defense in general played good in the run. But I agree with you. And Tremont Smith played well enough to be an outside corner. If you need to hold Stingley out and make sure he gets back to 100%, you can do that right now. And you get Jalen Smith back because he was out this game as an injured guy. He's another guy you can kind of cycle in. And I want to give one positive shout out to Jalen Petrie. I don't think I've ever seen him have 3 passes defensed in one game. It was good to see him out there moving around. He's a damn good player, but usually you don't see him mixed in the coverage part of the game. They just got to figure it out, because there was the mental breakdowns that happened at the end of this game on defense you could tell it was pure exhaustion with the busted coverage they gave up to Brian Thomas. There was supposed to be someone, I don't know, Bullock kind of comes down pre-snap. I don't know if he's supposed to like fake down there and then come back or carry the guy across the field. No, hopefully one of the media members asked them about that. But that's just kind of where I'm at. I think it's very fixable on defense, and it's also fixable on offense, but there has to be a moment of like, we have to play this way and we have to be willing to lose this way, because this is the only way that our quarterback can play right now and the way this offense can function. And if we don't play this way and we don't actually try it, then we're never going to know, and we're going to keep chasing our tail, trying to chase this dream of how the offense is supposed to be and what Caleb is supposed to bring and all this bullshit, right? It's time for the OC to grow up. It's time for the quarterback to grow up. It's time for the head coach to grow up. It's time for the organization to grow up and play like they want to be a contender.
All right, y'all. So, like I said, make sure you like, sub, and share. Let us know what you think about this game, and let us know what you think about the next 2 weeks, because these next 2 weeks, if it looks bad, man, I mean, changes are going to be made. I feel like, they have to be made. You know what I mean? So let us know what you think. Like I said, support the channel, man. Please comment and let us know how y'all are feeling about this. We'll be back soon, y'all.